Hello, dear friends. Welcome back to English Vault, the channel where stories inspire you and words help you grow. Today, I'm going to share something very close to my heart, my last travel story. The place I visited was magical. It was peaceful, beautiful, and unforgettable. It is none other than Darjeeling, India, a place famous for its tea gardens, mountain views, and the mighty Kanchenjunga Peak. I will tell you the story step by step, just like I am standing in front of you and narrating it. My aim is not only to share my travel experience, but also to help you learn English, improve your listening, and feel motivated. So are you ready to travel with me? Let's begin our journey together. First, let me tell you why I chose Darjeeling. I have always loved mountains. To me, mountains are teachers. They stand tall and tell us, be strong no matter what storms come. I had read so many stories about Darjeeling, the Queen of Hills, the land where the first rays of sunrise touch the snow-covered Kanchenjunga, and the town where the toy train whistles through misty valleys. Something inside me said, you must go there. You must experience it with your own eyes. So I planned my journey. Before any travel, there is excitement. My heart was beating fast as the day came closer. I packed my bag carefully. I put clothes, a camera, a notebook, and of course a book to read during the journey. My mother reminded me to carry a sweater because Darjeeling is cold. The night before leaving, I could not sleep. My mind was filled with questions. How will the mountains look? How cold will it be? Will I really see the Kanchenjunga? The journey had not even begun, but already it was teaching me one thing: the joy of waiting. Sometimes, waiting for something is as sweet as the journey itself. Finally, the day arrived. I started my journey by train. The sound of the train wheels on the track was like music to my ears. As the train moved, I looked outside the window. The view kept changing. Fields, rivers, small towns, and finally the mountains far away. With every passing hour, the air became cooler, fresher, and cleaner. I felt like nature was slowly calling me closer. Traveling reminds me that life itself is a journey. Sometimes smooth, sometimes bumpy, but always moving forward. After hours of travel, I finally reached the foothills. From there, a car took me up the winding mountain roads toward Darjeeling. Friends, if you have ever traveled on mountain roads, you know the feeling. The road curves left, then right, again and again. Sometimes it feels like the car is climbing into the clouds. On the way, I saw waterfalls falling like silver ribbons, small houses painted in bright colors, and children waving at travelers with big smiles. Every turn of the road felt like a new painting, created by nature. When I finally reached Darjeeling, I felt like I had entered another world. The air was cold, yet refreshing. The streets were lively with people, small shops, and the aroma of momos and tea. I could hear the sound of bells from a monastery nearby. But the most amazing thing was the view of the mountains. There it was, the Kanchenjunga, the third highest mountain in the world, covered with snow, shining like gold in the setting sun. I stood silently, just watching. In that moment, I felt small, but in a beautiful way. The mountain reminded me how grand the universe is and how important it is to stay humble. The next morning, I went to see the famous tea gardens of Darjeeling. Imagine this: hills covered with endless green tea bushes, workers plucking leaves with baskets on their backs, and the cool wind carrying the smell of fresh tea. I walked through the narrow paths of the tea gardens. The green color was so calming, it felt like my eyes were drinking peace. I also visited a tea factory and learned how the leaves are processed into the world-famous Darjeeling tea. When I sipped a hot cup of tea there, I realized this was not just tea. This was history, culture, and nature combined in a cup. One of the most exciting parts of my trip was the toy train. The Darjeeling Himalayan Railway is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The small blue train moves slowly through the town, whistling loudly, while people wave from the roadside. I sat inside, and as the train moved, I felt like I had gone back in time. The sound of the steam engine, the narrow tracks, and the slow speed made me enjoy every single moment. Looking outside, I saw valleys covered in mist, small villages, and children running beside the train. The toy train taught me something important. Life doesn't always have to move fast. Sometimes, moving slowly lets you see more beauty. One of the highlights of my journey was visiting Tiger Hill early in the morning to watch the sunrise. I woke up at 3:30 a.m. It was freezing cold. I wore my jacket, gloves, and cap, and went with other travelers to the hilltop. We waited in the dark, shivering but excited. Slowly, the sky turned orange, pink, and golden. Then suddenly, the first rays of the sun touched the Kanchenjunga peak. Friends, that moment was magical. The snowy mountain turned golden, shining like fire. Everyone around me clapped. Some even cried with joy. I stood there, speechless. And I thought to myself, this is life. Sometimes you have to wait in the dark to see the most beautiful sunrise. What makes a place special is not only nature, but also the people. The people of Darjeeling are warm, kind, and welcoming. They speak with gentle voices and always have a smile. I talked to shopkeepers, taxi drivers, and students. Even though English was not their first language, they tried to communicate kindly. That inspired me. It reminded me that language is not only about words, it is about connection. A smile, a kind gesture, or a helping hand speaks louder than grammar. During my trip, I also visited Batasia Loop, a railway loop with a war memorial and a breathtaking view of the mountains. Peace Pagoda, a Buddhist temple, where I sat quietly and felt peace in my heart. Darjeeling Zoo, where I saw the red panda, a cute and rare animal found in the Himalayas. Local markets, full of colorful clothes, handicrafts, and delicious street food. Each place added a new memory, a new lesson, a new joy. Now, friends, let me share the lessons I learned from my trip to Darjeeling. Number 1, patience brings beauty. Just like waiting for the sunrise at Tiger Hill, patience in life brings amazing rewards. Number 2, humility is strength. The mountains reminded me to stay humble and grounded. Number 3, slow down. The toy train showed me that moving slowly helps us enjoy the journey more. Number 4, connection matters. Talking to locals taught me that kindness is a universal language. Number 5, nature heals. The tea gardens, fresh air, and mountain views healed my stress and filled me with energy. Friends, travel is not only about seeing new places, it is about seeing yourself in a new way. When you travel, you step out of your comfort zone. You meet new people, try new food, and face new challenges. And in the process, you discover who you really are. Travel teaches us courage, patience, and gratitude. If you ever get a chance, I encourage you, travel. It doesn't have to be far or expensive. Even a small trip can change your perspective on life. So, dear friends, this was my last travel story, my unforgettable journey to Darjeeling, India. I shared with you how I felt before the trip, how I traveled, what I saw, what I learned, and how it changed me. Darjeeling is not just a place on the map. For me, it became a story in my heart, a lesson in my mind, and a memory in my soul. Before I end, let me leave you with one thought. Life is a journey, not a destination. Every journey, big or small, has the power to teach, to heal, and to inspire. Thank you so much for listening. This is English Vault, reminding you, keep learning, keep traveling, and keep shining.